As you all know, my name is Ms. Monica Ramos. I'm going to be working today with you all math data analysis. So we're going to be analyzing our math data according to our first benchmark that we administer to our students. So first of all, welcome. Thank you very much for coming and attending so we can learn. I'm going to pass out the agenda, what we're going to be covering today. I made the agenda for us. So this is the third grade teachers for the English education, English ed students, I'm sorry. So we're going to go ahead and go over. So the purpose of this meeting, so we're going to be, this is the objective. We're going to analyze and discuss data that drives our instruction in math. And I will be able to adjust instruction based on content mastery for the objectives taught. So the items needed are going to be the item analysis report, which I'm going to go ahead and pass out right now. So here's an item analysis report. We're all going to follow the same model. That way we understand and then we can apply it towards our classrooms. But these are some results for our third grade students. And then I'm going to give you the math benchmark one. I made a copy for all of us. That way we can discuss, analyze the questions. So go ahead and get one. Pass it down. And highlighters, yellow, green, pink, which I have already got. Awesome. We have our highlighters ready to go. So these are the items that we need. We're all set to go. And what is data analysis? So data analysis is the process of systematically applying techniques and evaluating data. And all this data is extremely important to our campus, especially in our grade level. That way we can help our students, help them grow, show progress. They provide research findings of what areas are great or what areas are weak. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our item analysis report, and we're going to analyze each question and place the number of distractors. So when we get our item analysis report, everybody, we're going to go to question 1. And the first one starts with being the correct answer, right? So we all have B, 94%, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to circle the ones that are 9% and above, but not the answer choice. And that's showing us that it's showing an area of concern. So let's go ahead and do number 1. And there was none. So we would put a 0. Right. Yeah, right next to it. And then we're going to go ahead and go to number 2. The answer is F, so we don't circle that. And I don't know if you see there's a 6%, 6%, which kind of looks more like an easy fix, but we're going to go ahead and put a 0 because it's nothing greater than 9%. We're going to complete this all the way to 32. On number 3, how many do you see?
0.
0. 4, the answer is, the first one is correct. It's a 72%. I still don't have 100%. So since this is a bubbled in, these are the ones that we bubbled in for the students, the griddable ones. So we go ahead and go past it. We still analyze that one. On number 5, how many distractors?
None.
On number 6, the answer is G. We have one distractor. Do you see the distractors? Right?
22%.
We have 1, so we put a place of 1. On number 7, the answer is A. We show no distractors. On number 8, the answer is J. How many distractors?
2.
Good job. We have 2. Yeah, we have 2 distractors. So we write it 2. And let's turn the page. We're going to complete it all the way to number 32.
C.
C.
C. The answer is 1.
1 distractor. On number 10, the answer is G.
1.
1 distractor. On number 11,
Griddable.
67% is very low. It's these griddables, we need to look at it. If they're 80% below, that means that they're having difficulty with these griddables. On number 12, the answer is G.
0.
0. 13. 2. Awesome. Yeah, 2. 14 is F.
1.
1. On 15,
What's the answer?
D.
And there's 1.
one
One
distractor. We're already on 16. G, the answer is G, we have one distractor. On number 17, the answer is B. So one distractor, 11%. 8, G, 0, 19, 0, 20, it's 100%. 21, the answer was D. And we've got 1, 2, we've got 3 distractors there. Let's look at number 20.
22. 0.
0.
22, 0.
B. 0. Okay, let's go to 24. Answer was F. 1 distractor. And it shows areas of need in the others.
Mm-hmm.
And 25, we got 89%.
1.
1 distractor. 26,
0.
Low.
very low, 33%. That's a griddable
Perimeter.
perimeter.
It's 1/3.
28, 83%. On B, we've got 1 distractor. 29, B, 2 distractors. 30, the answer is G. We've got 2 distractors. 31, the answer is A, 1 distractor. And the last one, number 32, the answer was H,
1 distractor.
1 distractor. Okay, that is the first part. When we get our results, every time that we benchmark, we look at our item analysis report and we try to figure out where in our classroom are we having the most difficulties. By analyzing the numbers and looking at our percentages, and we included the 9% because it still makes a huge difference. It should be like a 10% above, but I included the 9% to kind of give us that feedback to see why are our students missing these questions. Where is it that they're needing, what type of intervention can we target with these students? So what we did right now is basically we analyzed and we identified the distractors according to our students, according to how we teach in the classroom. So using this one, we're gonna use our benchmark test. So we're gonna go ahead and take out our benchmark test now. And this is the best math benchmark test. This one was the one that we administered late January. So we are analyzing each question of the test, and we're gonna go ahead and write down the percentages according to the distractors. And some of them might not even be the distractors, but they could be at 6%, which could be like an easy fix. And that describes the colors. So the highlighters, we're gonna use our green. It's considered an easy fix. Blue is 2 distractors. Pink is difficult, 3 distractors. So the easy fixes is when you don't have any, but yet you don't have 100% on there. So we saw several, like for example, I'm gonna go to number 1. We have 0 distractors. So let's go to our test. Open up our test. And let's look at A. So on the side, A, what do we have? 0%.
Okay.
And then B, we got 94%. Yes, 94%. What do we have for C? 6%. And then D, 0%. Okay, so this is what we're looking at. Based on these numbers, I'm able to analyze that the majority of my classroom got this one. So this is not a reteach. We don't have to reteach the whole entire concept because that's basically maybe 1 student or 2 that probably got this one incorrect, probably due to, it could be academic vocabulary, it could be by analyzing the misconception, what did they get wrong? So I would consider this one, it would be a what?
Green.
A green. So we highlight the whole entire question in green. And then the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna analyze each question. So let's look at number one. Anybody want to volunteer to read it?
Nina works for a restaurant. The restaurant pays her every week for the work she does. Some weeks she works more hours than other weeks. Which statement is most likely true?
Okay. Now, what do you all think? Looking at number one, what could have gotten our kids? What could have, what might be a word or something that was said in that statement, that sentence, that the students might not have understood?
Maybe income?
Income.
Yeah.
And that's all academic vocabulary.
Labor,
More income, labor,
labor.
labor, very good. I agree with that one because our students don't understand labor. They don't understand that word income. We kind of connect it to, oh, it's that time of the month, income. So we can make that connection with, oh, mom,
Money,
yeah, money,
Yeah.
what they work for.
which makes it more hours, more income.
More hours, more income. Very good, yeah. Yeah, anything else that you all think? Like restaurant, majority of the students would
Just
know.
They should
reading,
know
yeah,
that,
just
yeah.
reading it.
Reading and
That's
kind
a
of like
read,
really
that's a spelling.
Ready?
Vocabulary. But just read restaurant.
Mhm. Reading. So then based on these numbers, it shows that right here, I'm showing numbers that show it's an easy fix. Could be something simple, could be maybe income, two vocabulary words. We analyze our students on this one and kind of say, what do I need to do? Maybe pull those two students aside and say, hey, let's go ahead and go over this problem. So that's how we go ahead and distinguish that one. So it would be an easy fix. We all agree?
Mhm.
Let's go to number two. Anybody want to volunteer?
Gretchen made this table to show the side lengths and perimeters of three figures. And it's a table. Gretchen figures is the title. It gives you the figures, the side lengths in yards, and the perimeter also in yards.
Mhm.
Square, all of them are the same, 6, 6, 6, 6. And the perimeter, when you add them together, you get 24. The triangle has three different sides, 4, 7, and 8. And when they added those together, they got 19. Rectangle, 4, 8, 4, 8. And when they added those, they got 32. Gretchen got 32. What mistake, if any, did Gretchen make? The perimeter of the rectangle should be 24 yards. G, the perimeter of the square should be 36 yards. H, the perimeter of the triangle should be 20 yards. J, Gretchen did not make any mistakes in this table.
That's a pretty tough one. Looking at our numbers in these distractors, I have we're targeting 89% F,
Yeah. Zero distractors.
zero distractors, G,
But she's
Oh,
got 6 and
and,
6 left.
sorry, 0%.
0%, and then 6%
And 6.
and 6%. I believe that even though like it's not, it shows zero distractors, somewhere we're missing 2 or 3
Yeah.
kids that are not understanding this concept.
Yeah.
And it might not just be necessarily the concept of perimeter, we kind of emphasize you add on around, add on around.
Perimeter plus.
But I think one of the distractors to me would be like the mistake. They're not looking for, how could she have made a mistake
Mhm.
when they see
Yeah.
this grid, now it's
Gotcha.
given to them in a table, and they're
Without the shape.
Without the shape.
shape,
Yeah.
the pictorial model.
Mhm.
And for them, it's very important that they have a pictorial model. But sometimes that's how it starts. It starts with a pictorial model, and then we remove the pictorial model and give them a word problem. And sometimes that's where they don't understand a square. A square has the same sides. A rectangle, the opposite sides are equal.
And-
Triangle has 3
And
sides.
they're lucky that they give them all the 4, because if they really wanted to, they could have just given them one side of 6.
Mhm. And they need to
And on
remember.
the
it all.
rectangle, they could have just told them one side's 4, one side's 8, and then
Yeah.
you figure it out.
Yeah, you figure it out.
But they gave them all the sides. They
What do
gave
you
you
think? What do you think might have gotten them?
going back and adding,
Yeah,
going back and
doing
adding.
the work for each
You
individual
have to
shape.
do each
Mhm.
shape. You have to go through each shape.
And it's showing as an easy fix, right? So 2
Yeah.
distractors is blue, our pink is 3. We're not at that level in these results here. However, it would be a green, but I would still go over or try to identify your students that missed this one, that way we can kind of, okay, maybe it's just a small group,
Small group.
like a small group.
Mhm.
So it would be highlighted in green.
Green.
And I circled mistake, because I think that's important to them. Mistake, how, the table, that's what they gave me. How could they have made a mistake?
Mhm.
That's really good to know. And then, of course, I'm gonna write on the side, you mentioned, pictorial models. The models, the shapes are not provided, the pictorial models. So the kids don't see that, they don't have that connection, or they don't see the drawing. So that's really, really good. And then,
Like she says that when you see the test, that they're thinking, well, it's there on paper, it must be right. It's already printed.
Yeah,
like
it's
you said
already
right now. It's already printed, it must be right. How could she make a mistake? It's already there, in black and white.
so they're adding, I'm gonna add, they're adding, like you said, Mr. Ramirez, that way we know.
They're adding perimeter plus. I
They
always
need
tell
to
'em-
check
I
their
always tell 'em- I
answers
always
here,
tell 'em
right?
Perimeter plus.
So like check
Show
here
your
the
work.
sum of these.
Show your work.
Go to number 3. And I'm gonna get the percentages on number 3. Was 100%?
It's
Mhm.
like that.
So
0,
100%,
0,
0,
Every
0.
100.
0, 0, 100, 0.
This one can be kind of tricky. It just depends on this benchmark the kids were able to pull through. But I believe that, and I'm gonna go ahead and read it really quick. It says, which of these models represent the same number? You have model X, model Y, and model Z. So when I was doing my small group, I kind of noticed on some of the students when we were doing this lesson that the kids were counting. And I had to make that correction. No, the value is
Mhm.
different than counting. So for example, model X has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. It's got 20 units,
Mhm.
which represents literally 20. And then when the kids came over here to model Y, they were doing
1, 2, 3.
and they counted 20 and they were putting, oh, I've got 20,
Mhm.
10 blocks, but they were saying 20, they were not giving me the value. So the pictorial model could trick them because they're counting only by how many 10 longs do we have.
There's 20. There's 20 tens
Mhm.
though.
And yeah, and it's 20 tens.
20 tens.
And then over here, they would put 2
Two, because it's 200s.
because it's 200. And it
Yeah.
should be the 200s followed through all the way by telling me the entire value. And some of the kids weren't understanding that they needed to provide a value. So by looking at the answer choices, one word that is repeated is equivalent. Some of the students
Mhm.
still might not comprehend because they're so used to the academic vocabulary as being equal. And once they get to third grade, equivalent, the word changes. It means the same,
Mhm.
but to them it might be equal. And they're used to hearing the word equal versus equivalent. What do you all think? What are your kids? How do you think your kids?
My kids had that problem too because I was walking around and they were showing me 20 and I'm like, but you're counting by tens.
Yes.
And I had taught them during the week that they count the 10 tens and that makes 100. So I would have them box up the 100.
Box up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they were able to see, oh, it's 100.
Mhm. Yeah, because it can be tricky. So the pictorial model in a way, like it's supposed to help them, but sometimes
But
it can
mhm.
trick them, it can do the opposite. So I think maybe, I know that we have manipulative by maybe giving them, if you stack up 10, they're able to create that 100, like you mentioned, and it kind of helps them square them off. You see, how were you able to create that 100 when you had the manipulative?
Yeah, like this.
So now it's the same concept.
Yeah, like you're saying, you can actually put them together and show it's equal to that,
Exactly.
and then break them apart,
Break, decompose.
decompose.
Like they need to
I
understand
mean,
that they're
it-
decomposed.
If you see it, let me just look at it like those. How can you know that that's not equal? Because I mean, just visually. So these two should not be. I mean, just visually seeing that. That's a lot less than that.
Mhm.
That's a lot less than this. So you know, this ones are out. This one should be out. I don't know if you can do it. I know you want to do it like Miss Elena said. 20, 200, 200. 20, 200, 200, like she said.
When I kind of
You
like,
need the model, you want the number, they're looking for the number.
but I kind of like your idea as well because when you square them off, you're able to put the hundreds and
Yes.
they're able to count
Yes,
their hundreds there. And they kind of see it more like, oh, it's the same value.
the same value.
It's the only thing that they're kind of scoring them in because there's spaces in between,
Yes,
but they're able to see that they have the same value. So it can be, I mean, there's different ways,
Yeah.
there's different ways.
and if you put these together, I hope somebody doesn't say it's one of these.
I hope not.
Right, you see, if you squeeze these
Yes.
together, I
It
hope
represents
I
one.
hope they don't say.
They
that-
might think that
That's what I'm
this
saying.
box
That's why,
is,
in a way, that when they, I don't know what the word is, when they put them apart from each other,
Mhm.
thank
If they're
God.
spaced out.
Yes, yeah, as opposed to that. right there.
Like, kind of like the puzzle.
Yeah,
just
like the
connected right
puzzle,
in there and
yeah.
it looks the same.
That's good that they space them out like that, that they don't put them like that.
It was
Because
too
they-
visually.
Because they could put it like that, and then it'll look like this, right? If they wanted to, but they do break it up.
We're ready to move on to number four. Number four says, we've got 72%. So 72% got this problem correct. What happened to my 28%, right? What happened to those 28%? So we gotta look at this one. And, number four, anybody want to volunteer?
Lynn has a total of 36 sodas in packs. There are 6 sodas in each pack. How many packs of soda does Lynn have? Record your answer and fill in the bubbles on your answer document. Be sure to use the correct place value and use scribble 8-1.
One misconception that I see already is the griddable.
Yes,
Some students are going to record their answer starting off on the hundreds place because it does not
Yes.
give them a value.
exactly.
So that one's already one misconception where the students are gonna get confused, where do I plug in this number? And they start off on the far left versus on the far right.
Now, what you can do on these, since it's the paper, I was gonna ask you, you can put HTO here. Now,
Yes.
you can't do it on the Scantron though,
You know, the kids don't
right?
do
You
it,
can't do it on the
it
Scantron.
doesn't affect it.
Does it?
Yeah, I've seen some of the kids, you can't, be doing that, you can't tell them anything on the test, right? But as long as that the bubbling in is
That's,
done,
okay, as opposed to the HTO.
So
They're
this
not
the
even,
pure won't affect
you're right,
it.
they're not even looking at this. They're looking at the bubbles. They're not even looking at that number. That could be blank. The computer scores this.
scores that.
That's right.
That's a
So,
good question to ask.
I was gonna ask, yeah, can they put HTO on top?
Yeah, right now for the practice test,
Yeah.
until they get that, you know, that understanding.
This is total
But I see that, that's one of
divided
them.
by,
Now, you see, and this concept hasn't fully been taught yet.
yeah, that they
Because
threw
we're
that one
barely
in.
this
Yeah,
is
they
week
threw that
for
one
the
in. They
multiplication.
threw that one in.
So the only thing, when I reviewed this, when I told the kids, okay, let's go ahead and, let me go ahead and see where we're at with these problems, it would be sketching a model.
That's what I was gonna say. If it, like they said, if push comes to shove, draw the 36 circles.
Yeah.
And put them in groups of 6.
Yeah, you could do that as well.
It's gonna take a while.
Or,
It's gonna take a
or I
while.
would say there are 6 sodas in each pack.
Or you could do that
You
too.
do the packs
1,
of
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6.
1, exactly.
and then you add 6 more, that gives you 12 until you get
To-
to the
to
number
30.
36
Yes.
at that point. Because we have not taught that
No, we
concept of
haven't.
division. Division
Yeah.
is not yet. And they threw this question in here, and I think it was to make them count or distribute
Mhm.
the 36 sodas into 6 packs. So now this was kind of tricky.
Yeah.
It was kind of tricky. That's why 72% got it correct, but the other 28%.
Which is over 1/4 of the class.
Mm-hmm. So this one, what do you think? What do you guys consider that? Should I be part of your tutoring group? Should I be your instructor? Should you reteach it to the whole class?
I think it's open.
I think so because it's word problems,
There's
Like
no,
problem solving?
problem
yeah,
solving, yeah.
there's no visuals.
So
There's
like a
no,
spiral, and I know it's spiraled in Sharon Wells.
there's no
Just in
kind
our
of
skills,
visuals. Yeah,
in our
there's no
skills
visuals.
or in our problem solving as well. Yeah. So
So-
this one would be, I would, it
I
would be
would
like
say
a
that's
blue.
a blue.
A blue?
A blue.
Because it might look like there's like two structures, so we can shade it in with the color blue. Okay, let's go ahead and go to 5. Number 5, we displayed 0 distractors.
9, 0, 0. And this is 6.
This is, what's called, not ratio,
Input-
but what is
input
this
output
called?
tables?
Input output, yes, input output. How do you get from here to there?
066.
And you only have 4 answers, times 3, times 2, times 6, or times 5. So it's gotta be one of those.
So you see how there's still 6%, 6%
Yes.
here?
Yeah.
It might not look 89%, there's no
It's big.
distractors, but technically there are some students that are not understanding this.
C and D.
So, it's more of an easy fix. We can see it's an easy fix because it's not a huge number.
Mm-mm.
It's not a whole reteach. Now, the data relationship tables, can be very tricky, like, the kids need to understand that, yes, going from left to right, there's a connection, but when they put them top to bottom,
Like that.
there's a connection
that.
going down.
Like that.
So the way I kind of do this one, wait, let me go ahead and read it. The table shows the relationship between the number of toys airplanes made in a factory and the number of batteries needed for the airplanes. So these are the batteries for the toy airplanes. It's been provided a data table. Says the number of the toy airplanes, 5, and the number of the batteries is 15. So they might have not understood that relationship. What is the relationship between 5 and a 15?
Mhm.
And if you look over here, in your answers, it says equal to, equal to, equal to, and then times, times, times,
Mhm.
times. So one way to teach these kids this one is decreasing and increasing numbers. So if you're at a 5 and the number goes to the 15, did it increase or did it decrease? So we kind of told the kids, okay, the kids will help you out. Oh, the number went up. So the number increased. So then what 2 symbols could we utilize that shows the number that increases? And the kids will tell you right away,
Plus and
addition
Plus and times.
and times. Look at our answers. We know that we're going to be doing
Times.
times. So we circle our times,
Mhm.
and the students have to check each one, 5 multiplied by 3, and then the 7 multiplied by 3, 9 by the 3, 11 by the 3. Each one, they have to do every single answer. So here I can see probably like maybe 3 kids did not understand that.
Mhm.
They don't comprehend the relationship maybe. But it's data relationships. What do you all think?
But like Ms. Mara says, they have to do each one. You have to do each one, or like you said, right, 5 times 3, 7 times 3, 9 times 3, like that. You have, and so on, and so on. You have to do the work. You have to put the work in.
Yeah. So this one would be more like it's an easy fix.
So
It's a-
good.
yeah, that's a
green.
green.
And it's kind of spiraled in our skills as well. The data relationships, it's not an isolated concept.
Yeah, they're there in the skills.
Number 6.
3D.
6 we're showing 22%, 72%,
What's the answer?
6%, and 0% G.
Must be three prisms.
G's your answer.
Okay. I'll tell you, I know why this one.
Go ahead, no, go ahead.
I think this one is because the square, the cube
Mhm.
is considered a prism.
A special
It's
prism.
actually a square prism. Because they're considering the cube
cube.
as a prism. See, and that's one of the answers, 3 prisms. The rectangular prism, the triangular prism, and the square prism.
That's true.
I'm just saying, I
That
think
is very,
that's,
that's pretty tough.
see, and there's no cubes there. See,
They were probably looking for
there's
the
no
word
cube,
cube.
there's no cube in there.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, yeah.
And I don't know if we get taught that cube is a prism. A cube is a prism. It's a special kind of prism.
And that, I think that goes back to our academic vocabulary.
Cube.
I'm gonna write academic vocabulary. Because when we are going over our 3-dimensional shapes, it's very important that we emphasize that word, like you said.
Yeah.
It is a cube, but it's also a prism. And this is where it gets them when it doesn't come out. There's no cube, but there's a prism.
Mhm.
It's kind of like your polygon shapes when the students get in the polygons and they're like, oh, it's quadrilateral, or is it a polygon?
Mhm.
And they need to understand that it's still under that same umbrella, but it's polygon, it's
But-
quadrilateral, but if the word quadrilateral is not there, they're polygons.
Mhm.
So that's very important that we emphasize the academic vocabulary. I show one distractor, and that would be
Which one did, it's, eight.
green, easy fix.
See, they put pyramid, there's no
There's no pyramid.
pyramids in
And we
there.
haven't covered, we don't cover pyramids.
Yeah, we don't.
No,
So that one should not even.
They
have-
shouldn't have
should
even
not
picked
be
it
there.
at all.
and that's one of the things I tell the boys and girls, has Miss Never covered the pyramids? And they're like, oh, no, we didn't even talk about pyramids here.
And you would think more people, sorry, Ms. Rena, you'd think more people would have picked
Oh,
this one,
that's
because this
true.
one has the cube.
it's
There
the
is a
cube.
cube there. There is a cube.
There
there.
is a cube, that was a
There is a cube.
distractor,
Yes, but they didn't pick that one. That's
And-
not, that, I mean, they say they did 6%
6%.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but you would have thought more people would have picked this one, that F.
So it'll be
Let me see.
3.
One, like 22%.
We're gonna do question 21,
Okay.
because that one actually has
Mhm.
3 distractors. I wanna look at one that has 3 distractors.
21?
Oh, definitely. And it's not too much wording, it's just the number line. So looking at 21, we've got 11% on A. B's got 11%. C's got, they were all over the place, 11%. And D is 67%.
Correct answer is
Yeah, the correct answer is D.
11, 11, 11.
So here, the students were not understanding the number line. This is a whole, it's a pink.
And it's equivalent fractions of the. What?
So this one's a definite pink because it's got 3 distractors. It's got 3 distractors. Can I borrow your pink?
Yes.
So it's a pink. It's a 3
Which
distractors,
is also pink.
and that one's definitely, I would consider this a reteach.
Yes.
It's a reteach because there's too many kids that are missing this, and the concept needs to be retaught.
Uneven,
And that's one of the things.
uneven, not labeled, it should be this one if you want to. This is a third. It's a third.
Mhm. And
This is
something
2/4.
something that I noticed, and now I don't know if you noticed that, but look at the leap,
Yes,
Uh,
it skipped the
hopped
first
all
one,
the
yes.
way.
it hopped.
Yeah,
and we wouldn't have those before.
no.
You know, that's
We
an
didn't have
equivalent,
them. They would hop by one, and I was like,
And you know what that is?
"Oh,
that's an equivalent fraction,
Yeah.
that's an equivalent
and we hadn't had that. We're
No.
just barely doing it right now.
We're doing equivalent fractions right now. So maybe now, we're emphasizing, and then that vocabulary, partitioning,
Yes,
Equal.
partitioning. not even.
equal,
This is
yeah,
not
because
even.
we need partition,
This
like
is
you
1/3.
mentioned, sir, it's not even partitioned equally.
Yeah.
So that's one of the misconceptions, that the students might not comprehend. So this is an example of a pink one where we can see the kids are all over. That would be more like of a reteach. Yeah, a reteach. And then that's exactly how we continue, more or less, do we understand how to do the data analysis?
Mhm.
And, coming together kind of helps us to be able to hear the different styles of, okay, what is it that the students are not getting? What do we see as teachers? We have to place ourselves in their shoes. And what vocabulary, it could be something, you know what? I failed to really focus on that prism. For example, the prism. We focus so much on the cube, the cube, the cube.
Mhm. We
And
are
yet
called
we
the
can
prism.
comprehend, you know what? That's as a teacher, I reflect on that, and did I ever mention that maybe once or twice, but did I emphasize it, that it was a prism, not realizing that it was gonna be tested?
Mhm.
So that's something really good to know, because we're able to reflect off of each other and say, you know what, you have a good point. I like how you said it, let's square them off and group them to our hundreds and show that model, because the students don't have that model. Adding them in the perimeter, making sure the students understand that 4 sides equal and that sum is equivalent to what they're giving us. That way we're able to find that mistake. So all this is exactly how we do our data analysis. So we can apply it and kind of create, the next thing we're going to be doing after this is creating our goals for our students. What is their current, where are they at? How can we help them grow? Individually creating those individual goals and an action plan that kind of sets things. What are we going to do? Are we going to be tutoring, targeting our groups? Which groups are the ones that need certain skills? And having our groups different when we set our list for interventions. So based on the interventions, based on the data analysis, we're gonna be doing our target groups, our tutoring, our instruction, and our reteaching. Right now we're doing the tutoring for Tuesday and Thursday. Let me go ahead and check something. So my next slide kind of just emphasizes the additional resources that we can use as teachers. So we've got our foldables. Foldables help the kids hands-on. That way they're able to, what concept did we not understand? If it's a reteach, let's not teach it the same. Let's kind of go back and see what foldable did you use or what did you use, sir, that could help my classroom, so that way we can work together. And then we've got extra additional resources. I think of workbooks that we got, the new ones this year, that provides us a lot of information to enhance those lessons, and they're actually very aligned to the state standards. Anchor charts. I know anchor charts, but if we create an anchor chart with them and they're able to see it, they constantly reflect, like the symbols, like they're able to constantly reflect. Computer lab, I know Imagine Math is very aligned, and you can modify the lessons and make them prescriptive. I know that some of our students said, "Oh, Miss, we already got that," and we're like, "Oh, good, yes, like we covered that." That vocabulary you're saying, the each, those are groups, or then, what's inside that group, it's the each. So Imagine Math is very, very aligned. And then for us to know the important date, it's coming around May 12th. We're going to be testing on a Tuesday. We need to get our students ready for that. So basically what we did today, we did our data analysis, and we're going to utilize that data analysis to help our students prepare for benchmark number 2 that's coming up in March. So, and that's pretty much it for today, our session for today, our CLC for today. Any closing remarks or anything that you all have in mind? Any concerns, questions? No, we're good.
We're good.
We're good. Okay, so I really, really want to thank you guys, and I just put a quote up there: teamwork divides the task, and it multiplies the success. Just to let you guys know, I mean, we work together. It's awesome when we come together, and help each other out wherever we're struggling, or as teachers that we're reflecting that we might need a little bit of assistance. That's what we're here to work as a team. So thank you very much, and this concludes the CLC.
Thank you.
Thank you.